know this is minor. I know this topic's not really an issue. It's not something serious, but as I'm doing my research this afternoon, it just reminded me of how useless the mainstream media really is. I don't know if it's because they're lazy. I don't know if it's incompetence. Hell, maybe they're just dumb. Or, and I feel like this is most likely the case, most likely the reason, maybe the media protects people and organizations that are there for them during a woke crisis. Well, KC, what is a woke crisis? You know what I'm talking about. For example, Elon Musk buys Twitter. Woke crisis. Troy Aikman says it's time for the NFL to take off the dresses. Woke crisis. A run of rainbow flags are produced. Thousands upon thousands of rainbow flags are manufactured. Then they realize they forgot to add one of the colors. Woke crisis. I'm sitting here this afternoon looking at these ratings for the World Series, and the first word that comes to my mind is disaster. Failure. I would not call this World Series matchup an ideal matchup for Major League Baseball. Ideal would be something like Yankees Dodgers, Cubs Red Sox. But this matchup isn't necessarily less than ideal either. The Phillies have a passionate fan base. The Astros have been dominant these past few years. Both teams are in major media markets. It's not like this is Rays Braves, which would be about as popular as a naked woman on the set of the movie Bros. As I'm looking at these numbers, I'm thinking to myself, how is the mainstream media going to spin this into a positive? How are they going to take this freshly dropped turd and turn it into a golden cucumber? I know I am highly critical of the mainstream media here on the channel, but one thing I will never take away from them is their ability to be creative. These shit fucks put the pro in propaganda. Let's go ahead and dive into ratings for the World Series, then I'll give you a brief update on ratings in the NBA. Game 1 of the World Series, last Friday night, 11.5 million viewers. Now, if I'm Rob Manfred, I am disappointed in this number. Right now, Major League Baseball and the NBA are basically competing for number 2. They're never going to be number 1, but they are competing for number 2. For the first time in many years, I felt this World Series had a chance to top the NBA Finals. The Finals averaged around 12.5 million last summer. I thought baseball would be able to eclipse that number. Steve Kerr and the Warriors, they gave NBA fans every reason not to watch the NBA Finals. It was nothing but a giant PSA on gun control. Please, we are begging you, go to your local police station and turn in your gun. The police station doesn't exist anymore. You fuckers defunded them. Oh yeah, well go to your local Publix and turn in your gun. We will make it worth your while. In exchange for your firearm, we will give you the limited edition battery-powered two-headed cucumber. Ratings for the NBA playoffs were actually increasing before all of that happened. Then the finals came and they basically flatlined. After Hurricane Woke swept through baseball last season, this year it's been relatively quiet politically. Rob Manfred didn't move the All-Star game out of Los Angeles because they didn't provide gender-neutral restrooms in the homeless community downtown. Once they figured out minorities knew how to obtain a driver's license to vote, they dropped their push against the state of Georgia. You know, Georgia, the state where Stacey Abrams is pretending to be governor. You guys know Younghoe Koo, kicker for the Atlanta Falcons. You ever heard of him? One of the best kickers in the NFL. Dude is automatic. My sources tell me the reason he is so good, he practices kicking field goals through the Grand Canyon in Stacey Abrams' teeth. I know that gap is wide, but it's not as wide as an NFL goalpost. Citizens of Georgia have finally found one usable quality in Stacey Abrams. If they could remove her voice box and utilize her mouth as a kicking machine only, maybe Stacey Abrams would have a chance to become governor of Georgia. But anyway, outside of that bullshit with Giants manager Gabe Kapler back in May, Gabe Kapler, I think that's his name, Gabe Kapler? Who knows? After the shit he pulled refusing to come out for the national anthem, he might as well change his name to Doofus Shitfuck. But outside of that, there wasn't too much politicization to Major League Baseball this season. We saw the results in the NBA during the beginning of the playoffs when you remove politics from the league. Ratings go back up. But that doesn't seem to be the case with Major League Baseball. You wouldn't know that, though, if you're relying on the mainstream media for your information. Before we get into that, real quick, ratings for Game 2 Saturday night were worse than Game 1, 10.8 million viewers. The media celebrating these numbers. Headline at the Hollywood Reporter, World Series opener hits 3-year high. Headline at the aptly named Awful Announcing, World Series ratings best since 2019. I even saw one outlet that I had never heard of before with the headline, World Series ratings are extremely encouraging. What is encouraging about failure? What is so encouraging about television ratings that are in the pooper? Yes, the World Series was number 1 on TV both Friday and Saturday night. Whoop-de-fucking-do. You went up against arguably the worst weekend of the season in college football on Saturday. Your competition Friday night was non-existent. The biggest competition Friday was fake WWE wrestling. This was one of the excuses given by the media. Friday night is the worst night of the week for television. That's why it's called the Friday Night Death Slot. Yeah. The only thing dying is the relevance of Major League Baseball. Number one, that excuse is no longer valid because out-of-home viewership is included in the ratings. And number two, Rob Manfred didn't have a choice. You have got to play games in the World Series on Friday night. Otherwise, you are in direct competition with the NFL, and we all know how that will end up. Matter of fact, with the rain delay last night, if the World Series ends up going to a Game 7, they will be competing with Titans Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Good luck with that. The media, they are using the same trick that they used with the NBA. They are comparing ratings of the World Series with the record lows of the last 2 years, which were affected by the lockdowns caused by the Fauci fungus. If we had an honest media, a media that practiced actual journalism, then they would take the extra time to research and give you the full story. Why does it take someone like me, some dumbass sitting in his recliner, to gather this information? I don't have an education from Woke U. I didn't study journalism at the Butt College of Bongo. All I have is a functional brain and the ability to scroll a bit farther down the historical ratings page. Most important of all, I don't have an agenda. I'm not trying to protect Rob Manfred so he invites me to be the piñata at his next party. If you remove the ratings from 2020, 2021, this year's World Series would be the least watched in the history of Major League Baseball. Record low ratings. Now, to be fair, this could change over the next week. This is a competitive series. They still have time to draw in the casual viewer. Whether or not that will happen, I have my doubts. Reason being, there's just very little promotion of the World Series. I'm not talking about promotion from Fox and Major League Baseball. Of course, they're promoting it. I'm talking about the lack of promotion in social media and throughout the rest of the mainstream media. With everything going on with Twitter lately, Elon Musk buying it, I've been using the platform more the last few days than usual. You know how many times I have seen the World Series trending on Twitter? 0. Game 3's tonight, just a couple hours away. Alvin Kamara's trending, New Orleans Police is trending, Red Wave is trending, the tragic death of that kid in the Migos is trending. For some reason, interest in Major League Baseball is so low, they can't collect a few thousand tweets. How often have you heard about the World Series on talk radio, ESPN, FS1? I had someone email me a few weeks ago blaming the mainstream media for not covering Major League Baseball. But trust me, if there was enough fan interest, the media would cover it. They would talk about it. There's just not enough interest to do it. More importantly, the age groups that are interested in baseball aren't the age groups that the media is targeting. We're going to keep an eye on the World Series and the ratings for the World Series the rest of this week. Maybe we'll do a recap video once the series is over. But let me give you a quick update on NBA ratings. It's more good news for the NBA. Now, me personally, I think the NBA has been great so far this season. I know I'm a bit biased because my Pelicans are playing so well. But the NBA has seen a massive jump in viewership so far this season through the first 2 weeks. In some cases, ratings are up 50% over last year. Last Tuesday night, Suns-Warriors, 2.3 million on TNT. Wednesday night, Bucks-Nets on ESPN, 2 million. For this time of year, it was the largest audience in the early window on ESPN since 2018. The late game last Wednesday, Nuggets-Lakers, 1.8 million. Even ratings on NBA TV are seeing huge increases. Thursday night, the two games on NBA TV averaged around 600,000 viewers. That is triple the audience from last year. So far, 9 of the 12 nationally televised NBA games have increased over last season. It is not even up for debate at this point. The NBA is clearly number 2 to the NFL. Major League Baseball, a distant third. Outside of the Field of Dreams game, there wasn't a regular season baseball game this season that eclipsed 2 million viewers. Baseball games on TBS struggle to draw 400,000. They average around 1 million on ESPN. Right now, the NBA is literally doubling the audience of Major League Baseball. But give me your thoughts. If you disregard the last 2 years, the World Series starts with record low ratings. Will we see an uptick in ratings going forward, or will 10, 11 million viewers be the best Major League Baseball can do? What do you think? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, kc_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.